Now that it is opened up in Photoshop, what we got to do is we're going to start out creating depth in grayscale. So rather than right over the PSD colored one, what we're going to do is we're going to turn this and we're going to do a save as, and we're going to save it as last name gray. And we're going to put that in our vl05 folder, gray, with layers, Photoshop. Now, in order to do this, what we got to do is we have to make sure that our colors are going to work okay when it goes to grayscale. As you can see here, I have two light colored grays and a sky that if it goes grayscale is going to be close in color. If I turn this into image mode grayscale, and I don't merge the layers because I want those two layers, and I want to discard the color. Now that it's in grayscale, when I use my magic wand tool, making sure anti-alias is not selected, and if this was at 0, and I click on this, as you can see I get all kinds of pixels, like that. So if I bring my tolerance up, let's say if I try to 5, now I'm going into this one. If I try 3, maybe I'll get it. I got it, okay? Then what I want to do here is I want to test things out. Get the whites, get these colors. I'm getting some tolerance action going here. Let me do contiguous off. Now each shape is independent. So what I'm doing here is I'm testing, making sure I can get everything. If something goes into another shape, or if I get that scatter like you saw a second ago when I had it at 1, or I think it was at 0, like that, that's not selecting everything. So you have to get your tolerance correct. Now if that doesn't work, what we can do is we can go File, Revert, bring it back to color, turn off all our textures, and we're back to here, and we change some of these colors. So this sky here, to make my life easy, I will select the sky. As you can see, it's got the whole sky. And I have a dark green here. Let me make it into a nice lime green. That sounds good. Paint bucket. Realizing paint bucket has anti-alias too, so do not have that selected. Just like that, I click there. So now I got a green. I think that's not going to work because it's going to be close when it goes to grayscale. So I'm going to pick a real dark lavender color. There we go. And maybe I want to do the same for this gray here so it's not close to that one. So I'm going to, once again, I'm just going to randomly pick another color of some sort and fill it in. Once I have done that, now if I take this and go image mode grayscale, don't merge, discard colors. As you can see, my colors are easier to grab now. Tolerance is at 0. Let's bring that to 5. I got 4. That works. That works. That works. Everything is selecting independently. So at this point, I'm good to go for my textures. So what I want to do is I want to turn on my textures. I'm going to use this layer, layer 1, to select the different shapes. As you can see here, I'm selecting all the different shapes. Then what I'm going to do is go to the layer that has all the textures and manipulate them. So if I want to lighten up the sky, for example, I go to layer 1, select the sky. Now what I want to do is, once I've selected it, I have to make sure I highlight the layer with the textures so it actually will affect that layer and not this. Now down at the bottom of your layers window, the round circle that says create new fill or adjustment layers. You click on that and you get some choices. What you're going to do is choose these, and you're going to manipulate these textures in order to create depth. As you can see here, my barn is pretty flat, goes into the sky. So I'm simply going to start with, I don't know, brightness contrast. And this is all about what you want to do. So I'm going to brighten that up a little bit, maybe make it less contrast. Or I'm going to darken it. No, I'm going to lighten it. I'll leave it like that. And I'm going to press OK. Once I've done that, it's still pretty flat. But as you can see in my layers, I have a brightness contrast layer with a mask. that means I can double click on this at any time and go back and manipulate it. So I'm never stuck with anything that I have. So I'm going to press OK, and I'm going to use the same thing again. So rather than going to this one, since I have a mask here, if I hold my command key and click on the mask, it selects it. It's the same thing as going back here and simply clicking on the sky. I can do it there or there. Once I've done that, I'm going to go back to my texture, click on this, and I'm going to try something else. How about curves? So curves, this is light, this is dark. Maybe I want to lighten it up a little bit. There we go. Now as you can see, as I'm doing the curves, you see how my barn's starting to stand out now? So I'm creating some depth here. The barn is now in front of the sky. Press OK. And I continue on and create the rest of this. As you can see here, you're going to have a whole bunch of layers that are affecting this. If I don't want one, I can simply click that adjustment option to the trash can and I can throw it away. Or I can make more. So I could do multiples for one, or I can do just one. But the whole idea is to try to create depth here. Once you've done that and completed this, what you're going to do is you're going to file and you're going to save it because it's your late gray PSD file. And then when you're done with that and you're done creating depth with grayscale, you did a save, and then you're going to do a save as, and you're going to save your late gray, and format is going to be a TIFF file. And no layers. And we're going to save it in the same folder. Press save. Press OK. And that's what you're going to do with the grayscale.